care of his wife and children, but they'll give her a check to live somewhere, but he can't live there. So now the family is separated. And see, that was mostly targeted towards what they call quote-unquote African-American black families. That's to get the black male out of the house. So now when you got little black boys that don't have their fathers in the house or don't have father figures in their house, what are they going to do? They're going to turn to the streets and become career criminals. Next thing you know, they're going to end up in the penitentiary and line the pockets of those that are basically running plantations that have another outward appearance in this modern day. I know what I'm talking about. There's a prison that I think they call Caledonia Farm. They call it a farm, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Why do you call it a farm? And then another thing, because you know what? What is a plantation other than a farm? Riding around on horses. Treating black men like trash. Isn't that what they did on the plantation? Even though on the plantations they got beaten with whips, they still getting beat down in there. Who's gonna come to their defense? They can't even defend one another. They take their anger out on one another. See, storms. You understand? Storms of life are raging. You need Jesus. My gosh, my God. For you brothers out there, you need to get with Jesus before you go in there. And I'm not saying before you go like you're gonna go. I'm saying get with Jesus so you don't go. Because it's a trap. It's a setup. You better recognize the devil while he's standing in your face and you out here in population. And don't play into the hands of the enemy. Because let me tell you something about the enemy. Satan knows that he can gaslight a lot of black people. Because he knows black people are always seemingly to be in their emotions. Let me talk about it. You got to come out of your emotions in order to be an effective soldier. But see, you're not going to know that right away. God is going to teach you how to manage your emotions so that you have the victory over your enemy when he try to gaslight you. And your enemy don't have the victory over you. You understand? Because people know when they feel like they are controlling and manipulating the situation because they'll say things to try to trigger you and sit back and monitor your response. But don't feed into it, my brother. Don't feed into it, my sister. Let a fool be a fool and let them hang themselves. That's what I would say. Don't let nobody gaslight you. I could, you know what? It's a whole other conference I could do. But I could tell you how I feel things should have been handled. And not too many of you brothers would even be incarcerated. But see, a lot of times, but it's not that we haven't had leaders out here that were talking and telling people, you need to do this, you need to do that, and what's going on and what your enemy doing. People were not listening because they were so consumed and overwhelmed by the material things of this world. You let material things distract you from what your enemy was around you doing. Messing with your money, messing with your freedom, messing with your livelihood, messing with your homes. I bet you almost all those men in the penitentiary have children out here in society. Boys, now men, that need them, that needed them when they were little boys. And I'm not saying everybody in there, it's their fault. No, I'm not saying that. A lot of them are just trying to survive. A lot of them are in there probably due to drug charges. But why did they get a drug charge? They got a drug charge because they needed money. They weren't trying to be evil, I don't think necessarily. They needed money. Why did they need money? Well, because we live in a money-based system. We live in a money-based world. Why couldn't they get the money from an employer? Well, because they're not going to pay them enough to buy a house and a car, take care of the wife and their kids. They had to have a side hustle. Where it's so big that the side hustle is considered illegal by the matrix, though the matrix is involved in it themselves. And so when somebody that's not a part of the matrix, you're in the matrix, not of the matrix, gets caught, they get sent into another branch of the matrix to make more money for the matrix. Is that making sense? All right. Say somebody may have followed me there. See, I see the system set up. I see the trick of the devil. You cannot defeat Satan apart from Jesus Christ. He's too cunning, Satan is, of a demon. You need the wisdom of God. You need the wisdom of God. So whatever it is that God Almighty tells you to do, do it. You don't have to understand it. When I was making this poster and I had lined up all those question marks, as I've told you before and emphasized before, I felt instructed to circle the one in the middle. Circle the one in the middle. I obeyed what I was feeling. Now, I don't know if it was from Father or from me. I believe it was from Father. I circled the one in the middle because perhaps now there's one somebody among many somebodies out there. But this message might be helpful to one somebody out there that is questioning God. You're questioning the things that are going on around you. You're questioning God as it pertains to your finances. You want to know why. You see that $1 bill at the top and the $5 bill at the bottom? You want to know why you're making that amount of money, but you got a mortgage and a car note. You got to pay your land taxes. You got to buy food for your spouse and your family. You got to keep food on the table. You got to pay your cable bill. You got to pay for your internet service. You got to pay your light bill, your water bill. Okay? Now you got to pay for your children's cap and gown, graduation, all of that. But that's what you make. So now you in the storm of life, calling on Jesus, trying to walk on water, but you're sinking because your faith has wavered. Let me tell you something. Be of good cheer. It is I. Be not afraid. O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Oh my gosh, because see, the things of this world are not of the Father. Can I talk about it? Look at all the things of life that people absolutely, positively stress themselves out about that are not of God, may not necessarily be a sin, but it is a man-manufactured burden. It's an unnecessary situation. Case in point is this. A lot of people stress themselves out about high school graduation. And I understand that's important. It was important to me when I was in high school. But you ain't going to die if you don't. Look at how much stress people put themselves through to buy all this stuff. Class rings and this and that and the third. Is that really of a necessity? Is it really necessary? Because if it ain't, don't stress it. Be of good cheer. It is I, be not afraid, Jesus said. Is it really of a necessity? Do you really need to walk across a stage to get a diploma where you've been taught a false history all your school life, indoctrinated into falsehood? Do you really need that? Or do you just need your diploma and they can mail that to you and move on? Stop stressing things that are other people's priority and obligation. A lot of you may say, well, you know, I didn't get to graduate. So what? Did you get your GED? All right, then that's all that matters. Stop stressing things that other people have placed on you as a burden. Like, well, you ain't got to do nothing but serve God and live holy. Who am I talking to out there? You ain't got to do nothing. If you get married and you cannot afford to buy that woman a real diamond ring, I was going to say, if you go get something out of a bubblegum machine, I don't even think they even have bubblegum machines no more, but I ain't trying to be funny, but let me tell you, marriage is a spiritual covenant, not a gold ring covenant. Marriage is a heart covenant. It's a heart loyalty thing, you understand? Marriage is in the heart, not the finger. That's what I'm talking about. So a woman can wear a big diamond ring to her hand drag on the ground when she walks. But honey, if your man ain't faithful, you ain't got nothing. A man can wear a gold ring until everywhere he go, he crawl on his knees because that ring's so heavy. Let me tell you something. If your wife ain't faithful, you ain't got nothing. Marriage is a heart covenant thing. Infinity. Infinity. Do you know the symbol of infinity? It's a circle. Never ending. It's a covenant. To death do you part. It's a covenant. You understand? That's why divorce is so painful. And I may come back to a conference on divorce too. Also, a lot of topics I'm thinking that I can cover. Father and I get together and cover. There's a reason why divorce is so painful, because you are tearing yourself away from you. Ooh. That's deep. I got chills when I said that. Because the two are one when you get married. So